Hey friends, my name is Janine Nerecina. I'm a size inclusive fashion designer, celebrity tailor, and sewing educator based in LA. Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of my brand, Nerecina Couture, and show you how I make an order from start to finish. This order is one of my favorite designs. It's a Barbie pink, one shoulder mini dress with a bunch of fringe on it. I love this design because it's stretchy, comfortable, and also a really unique design. It's for one of my loyal customers, and they've been ordering from me for about 2 years now. Let's get sewing so that I can get this packed and ready to go. Here's everything I need for this project: base pattern, fabric, thread, and fringe. I'm laying out the fabric to cut out the pattern until I realized that I was cutting it with a seam in the back. I don't want a seam in the back since it's a one shoulder and there's no zipper. So now I'm folding the fabric in half so I can line up the center seams on the fold. I'm cutting the fabric a little bit longer than the pattern so that I can adjust it later. So now I have 4 pieces, 2 fronts and 2 backs. 1 pair is for the outer shell and 1 pair is for the lining. The design is a one shoulder, and this is obviously not a one shoulder, so I'm pinning the sides so I can drape a one shoulder on my dress form. I'm using my original sample as a reference. I'm trying to mimic the same neckline in the front and back. Now I'm truing the lines that I marked. The lines are a little bit hard to see because I used a very light chalk, so it won't show up as much on the fabric. Now that I'm done truing the lines, I'm putting the front pieces on top of each other so that I can cut them together. And now I'm going to do the same for the back. I've already made this dress a few times and I don't know why I never made a pattern. I've been lazy, so this time I'm going to make the pattern so that the next time I make this dress, I don't have to drape again. I'm tracing out the original base pattern, so all I have to do is copy the new neckline. And now I'm truing my lines before I cut. I'm repeating the process for the back. I'm labeling my patterns so I don't get confused since the necklines are so similar. I'm checking my patterns to make sure that the notches line up and that they're the same length. Okay, so the front is 1/2 inch longer than the back. I'm marking a 1/2 inch line so I can cut it off. The pattern is finished, now it's time to sew. I'm gonna be using a serger and a regular machine. I need to change the thread, but I am not going to rethread this whole thing. I'm just going to tie the new threads to the old threads and pull it through. I always run a test whenever I rethread a machine. I just want to make sure that it's threaded properly and the tension works well with the fabric. Now I need to set up the regular machine. I'm using a cone thread, which I prefer anyway, since you get more bang for your buck. They're ultimately cheaper than the smaller threads in the long run. You get so much more yardage for what you pay. All you have to do is use a cone thread holder so you can use it on your regular machine. The first thing I'm going to sew are the shoulder seams, so I'm pinning them together. I accidentally used one of my front pieces as the tester when I was testing the machines, and I didn't buy extra fabric. I'm not going to cry. I'm going to match up the piece I made a mistake on with the one with no mistakes and see if this piece can be salvaged. So the messed up piece is on top and the correct piece is on the bottom. And thank God that they do match. But now I have to seam rip all of this. Seam ripping a serge seam is the worst because you have to rip out 4 threads. Now that that's over, I can sew the shoulders and neckline. I got so lucky that I didn't cut off any extra fabric while I was serging it. I almost forgot to sew in my label. Now I'm working on closing the side seams. This is wrong. This is wrong because when I turn it over to the right side, it's a tube. Like the one shoulder is stuck and this is all a tube. And now I'm gonna have to seam rip this entire seam. And God knows taking out overlock is like the most strenuous thing ever. This is my second mistake today. Obviously, I need to walk away and take a break. We're at bar! We're at bar! No, wait, it's a video! It's for my YouTube channel. Oh! I'm back and I'm ready to figure out how to fix this. I figured out a better way to rip out a serge seam. First, take out the needle threads and the looper threads will come right off. Still time consuming. I didn't say it was faster. I said it was a better way. Now I can go back to working on the side seams, making sure I don't sew a tube this time. My client wants to dress a certain length, so I didn't have to take off the first serge that I ripped because I ultimately had to cut it off anyway. Now I can close the hem and the base dress is done. I'm turning the dress over to the right side to get it ready to put on the fringe. The base of the dress is done and it is past 2 a.m. so I'm gonna call it a night and put the fringe on tomorrow. I'm back and I'm ready to finish this dress. This is day 3, so I'm ready to wrap it up and pack it so that I can ship it. This is my fringe and I'm just gonna put it all around the neckline. I decided to put on a shoulder pad to give the shoulder more structure. It's black, so I'm wrapping it in scrap fabric so it blends in with the dress. I'm sewing the shoulder pad to the lining of the dress so it's invisible. The fringe came packaged with threads to keep it secure. So now I have to remove all of that fringe to free it. I swear this took me longer than seam ripping. And I'm done. I'm really happy with it. The fringe looks so good. It's the perfect dress to shimmy in. This is my favorite part. Packing and shipping. I ship all of my orders in a garment bag and I'm adding a t-shirt from my line as a surprise gift since they're one of my best customers. I love writing thank you notes to my clients just to show my appreciation for supporting me and my business. I spritz my favorite perfume in the envelope because it's a nice touch. Now it's off to Florida and we're done. As you saw, I did struggle a few times, but I didn't want to hide that because that's just a part of sewing. Like everything else in life, you're gonna run into difficulties and setbacks, and that's just a part of the process. Annie and Sarah, if you're watching this, I hope you like the dress and the gift that I added. Should I release a pattern for this design? Because I think this is an easy enough make for beginners. If you want to see more behind the scenes content like this, along with sewing patterns and tutorials, make sure you subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. Bye!